Now we're live on Instagram. Good afternoon. My name is Rick Noda here in beautiful Encinitas, California, host of T3 Talks, where we tighten, tactical, and transition. Now, you see this guy right over here. You've seen him in my other podcast. That's Randy, the first aid professor. Now, yeah, I got to tell you, we got that studio audience in here, you guys. Now, before we start, all right, Randy, before he does his introduction, today he comes in and I'm like, hey, Randy, I got to show you this. And those know, and he knows me, I'm a gadget guy. So I was at 511 about a few weeks ago and I was complaining about my knees. And Doc over there at 511, shout out at Oceanside, goes to me and says, hey, you know what? I've got these trousers that actually have knee pads in it. And I couldn't believe, all right, that, you know, I thought, Randy, they're going to be these big, bulky things and like that. He shows me that they slide right in. Now, I got to tell you something, Randy. They're a game saver.
I need them now. I need them. Hey, give me one now.
I'm going to tell you, we should have just traded trousers. You would have worn the trousers for that. Because you guys, during his first aid class, he was literally, is this politically correct? He was on his knees for about an hour. Let that sit there for a second, all right? There you go. All right, now, you guys, one reason that we kind of got together today was because, again, my birthday was on May 9th. I turned 48. 48 years old, young. All right, and as I turned 48, you guys, I often had mentioned to everybody, and when me and Randy met at Clever Talks a few months ago, I said the gift of life is something we should do even besides what I call first responders and like health professionals like myself. So for my birthday, I asked everybody to take a life-saving course. Now, we had, 8 people in the class? Mm-hmm. And it was incredible. Now, Randy, tell them a little bit about yourself and how that class went. And I'm going to tell you, from the noise that I was sitting in here, I couldn't even take a nap. There was so much energy, I had to go upstairs. So tell them a little bit about that, Randy, what we did as I bend my knees and rub my knee pads and show them in front of you.
Sure. We came out. We had a lot of fun. That's what we always do. When it comes to teaching the classes, the whole idea is to bring the real life stuff to it. I teach just like how I taught my Marines to say, straight to the point, stupid and funny, because it sticks, right? That's the whole thing. If I just tell you a whole bunch of facts and numbers, it doesn't make any sense. Right?
I'm a jarhead. I'm a number
right?
2.
But if we're having fun, enjoying the time, and I can actually relate to something in your life, correct, it sticks, it right? And that's what we're all about. You know, that's what Eagle 1 CPR was all about. That's why we label it as Eagle 1 CPR. You don't want everyone to be Eagle 2. Right? You always want to be the number 1 overall, but that's really what changes the whole thing. The dynamic when it comes to our classes is that we want to understand what people are thinking, so we want people to ask the questions, right? There's tons of questions that were coming through.
And those I heard a ton of questions. Now, we use the language of tactical and transition, and that's exactly what you do, is what we learn in the classroom, transition out. Now, tell me one of the questions there, because I'll tell you, I heard it and I was chuckling out here.
Yeah, I mean, really what we do is we myth bust. What I do for a living is I myth bust for a living, right? I ruin a whole bunch of movies. So like I told people, don't be putting mustard, mayonnaise, stuff like that on burns, right? Because as you know, Rick, when they get to the ER, what do we have to do now?
Oh my God, you got to debride it. You got to scrub that thing out, and it hurts.
Right. I get, there are cultural differences that happens as well too. And
ay, papi, right? Que déjame poner un poquito mayonesa en ese que te quemaste ahí. Eso es mi abuelita, coño. That's it. She said, oh, I got to put some mayonnaise on your thing. I go, abuelita, ¿qué? It's crazy. Yeah,
there's mayonnaise lathered all over it. One guy, I remember one time I was at the Balboa Hospital. Guy came in. Greek guy, love him, but guess what? They use olive oil for everything.
Oh my God, Windex
Put
and
olive oil right into that thing, and I felt so bad for the child. It was on a child.
Oh man,
right? And so a lot of times we kind of walk through this. I mean, yeah, there are things that happen, but really we just want you thinking better. Like, just keep it clean.
Just keep it clean,
right?
And even like as a nurse, the hand washing principles. We talk about that. One of the best ways to just prevent infection control is washing your hands. Same thing with these burns and actual things, just keeping the area clean and dry. Now, as we were sitting there during first aid, all right, there was another story that I actually heard, and you were telling the story where you actually had a tragic incident that happened where you came up. And I think it's really cool because I'll let him tell it there, because he got there so early, he only had, he had the one thing that was there. So tell me a little bit about that. It's your entrance story, the story about, the construction site.
Yeah. Usually I bring out an intro story just to remind people that you can't always do everything.
Right.
It's always a team effort.
Yep.
So unfortunately, a lot of times what happens is that people are just so freaked out that I have to do this, I have to do that, and they're not even thinking what's going on.
Correct.
When really you can't do much, and really the major thing is just be by their side.
Exactly.
Right? So really the story that I usually give out is that I was there on duty at Camp Pendleton one day by myself, small first aid kit, and all of a sudden on the radio, I get this phone call. The radio
Randy,
call, right?
we got someone coming out there. We got to pause. I'm just that guy. Right. I'm sorry. I used to do noises. There you go.
Right. So the guy says, "Hey, you need to show up to that area. You'll be the first person there. We'll send you the ambulance." I'm like, cool. I'm a corpsman. I'll show up. I'll be there directly. Right.
Got it.
So I show up there. Construction zone. Guys falling off a roof and ended up in a rebarb.
Now here's what I will tell you. For the rest of that story, you got to take his class. All right. So what's nice about that is, you guys, we gave you a little bit of teaser of how funny and how that story works. So it's really kind of cool because, again, that story doesn't play out like you think. All right. So I'll leave that for you. Now, Randy, I'll tell you this. You came here to my studio, and I want to say thank you that right here on the 101. Now, I have a few restaurants in the neighborhood and things like that I've already canvassed. But how mobile are you, and what do you normally like? What do you normally like to do when you teach first aid?
We go out to a variety of places. So we've been to financial institutions before. Obviously healthcare, clinics, dental clinics, so on and so forth. But that's normal. Really, what I love is coming out to places that are not normally healthcare.
Perfect.
Healthcare oriented.
Yep.
Because that's where people lack.
Yep.
Right. Restaurants. A lot of them, somebody chokes. Nobody knows what to do. Right.
That is so true.
So restaurants, stuff like that. And even here's another thing. What we actually do now. Something I didn't tell you.
Good. All right. Live on the spot.
We actually come out to people's houses.
See that I was. It's funny. Smart minds think alike.
Right.
Because some people are. And I'm an adult learner. Those you guys know I have ADHD and I'm dyslexic. So to me, in a classroom scenario, it's scary. Right. So so going to someone's house, that intimacy, just like I do one-on-one coaching, allows that message to get out to more people, and that's really cool that you offer that to people.
The families are the number one demographic that are not trained.
Yep.
It's an unfortunate thing. And usually in my classes that I have an office in the Sarmiento Valley, so people come out to see us.
Yep.
But a lot of times when they come to our classes, it's usually the same thing. Something happened to my family member, and I had no idea what to do.
And you know what? And this is crazy because in all my videos, it's going to scroll right down here just like this. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. It just is the 7 Ps, you guys. And that's one nice thing about the 7 Ps is because families can prevent local burns. Because most of the stuff as a primary care nurse, I was dealing with burns. I was dealing with fevers. I was dealing with hypothermia related to Vegas trips, and your kids are saying, well, we're not cold. We're not cold, all right? Things like that. And I learned something today because, again, my programming, I often say my operating system was still cold packing someone very quickly for fevers because that's what I was taught. But instead, in today, that gradual way of getting that temperature down versus just slamming them in that ice bath, again, is something that's really nice. It's impactful to always learn.
Right.
And taking that to the families and literally in their home environment where we can often say, hey, you see this, you see this, you see this. As an occupational therapist nurse, it makes your home a little bit more, not like a hospital, but it makes it more safe.
Right.
And it allows you to use that area. So that's cool, man.
Yeah. Actually, the number one thing is whenever we walk into people's houses, we have the families there, is where's your first aid kit?
Yeah.
Right.
And usually, tell me, it's probably some obscure place.
And they have to blow the dust off of it as well, too, right? Nobody knows where the thing is, right?
No, it is. And the weird part is, most people think first aid kits are just, and most of them are rated for the Band-Aids.
Right.
It's kind of crazy. But then they do get expired. Some of the gauze gets out. And here's the thing. If you've never opened up a trauma kit or a first aid kit, okay, it's kind of complicated. There's a bunch of things on there. It expects you to be a medical professional in a way. Trauma scissors, gauze pads, Aquaphor, things like that, gloves. But if you've seen it for the first time, imagine taking a trigonometry test for the first time going, surprise!
Right.
So that's credible. That's cool, man.
Right. So I tell people, automatically, at least know where the gloves are, right? Know where the gloves are and know where the gauze pads are to actually stop the bleeding, so on and so forth. Because, can you imagine a couple of people's houses I walked to, the seal's still on there.
Oh my, yeah, and you know, like you know, they don't care. They're not carrying a knife sometimes, and they're gonna try. And now fumble with it to do that, and you know, it's luckily it's not a trauma situation.
Right.
Hopefully, it's just something where someone's got a little laceration from making too much, you know, cutting a tomato or something. But to close this all up, you know, we talked about in our last podcast, you know, that we talked about those 3 T's, and we mirror those three T's. But now, you know, think about this. I like to tell everybody that the transition and what we've done here, all right, besides the Titan tactical and transition, we use my other core values. We brought my community together, and we had some fun, but we held them accountable for this one thing, because now they got to practice, just like I always talk. Right. So your takeaway from today with my warriors and my clients, what do you think, man?
You know, it's always great to hear different stories, because that's exactly it. We're all from different modes of life, cultures, so on and so forth. That's what makes America so great. And that's why we come together and just kind of talk about it. Just go, okay, well, how do we help one another?
Yep.
Right? The takeaway is always, how do we help one another in these emergency situations, rather than just panic and don't breathe and not understand what's going on?
Now what's going on? Exactly.
Right.
And you guys, you look, building out what we've known. If you look at this week, which was National Law Enforcement Week, we talked about the levels of awareness. So, you know, that white to yellow to orange, red, and black. Remember, we never want to be black, never want to be white.
Right.
We want to stay in that yellow and that orange. We also talked about, you know, the mentorship and what it takes to be a leader. And then we reinforced it with Randy coming in and teaching us the skill set. Now, what I love about all of this, you guys, is there's a video category, so you could go back. Because as an adult learner, I'm a visual learner and like to see things over and over again, you guys. And you know what? And Esteban, my producer, he makes it really fun, you know, and entertaining, you know. So, Randy, this is, like I say, it's never goodbye. It's see you later. And I do know that we are working to do some more events.
Absolutely.
As I like to say, as always, simplify. Thanks so much, you guys. And here it goes. Our motivation inspires you to be better.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.
All right. Thanks.
Guys.
What's your name?
My name is Rick Noda.
All right. And what did you do today?
You know what? I was the arranger. I arranged the first aid class here with Randy.
Okay. And have you taken this class before?
Actually, I have taken this class before, and it was really entertaining. It was educational, and the nice thing about Randy is he really brought some human qualities back to first aid and basic life saving.
And that's my question. What was the best part?
You know, his stories are incredible. I love that he takes and he transitions what he is, his experience as a veteran and as a first responder, and really brings it back into real life words and things that you can totally understand. So his stories are the greatest.
We will start with, what is your name?
Miriam Perlman. Hi.
Hi. And have you ever taken a first aid class before?
Many times.
Many times. All right. And what do you think about this one?
This was really very different. Fun.
Yeah.
Which they usually are not.
What made it so different?
Well, his sense of humor and his enthusiasm. It was contagious.
Yeah. Yes, it was. And what would you tell other people to convince them, hey, Randy's the guy you should go to?
Well, the fact that he did make it fun and his little anecdotes were great. He really, it was, like he said, more than just numbers and rote, just mechanics. It was a more of a deeper understanding of what the body does, what the body needs, what you need to do. And I like that aspect.
What is your name?
My name is Uriel Rivera.
All right. And have you ever done a first aid class before?
Yes, I have.
What do you think of it?
I actually like it. It definitely has shown me a lot about how to help a person, whether, let's say, have a heart attack, seizure, or even needs just anything.
Do you like Randy's class?
Oh, yeah. It was definitely a changer within like 30 minutes of just, or 15 minutes of just class, like I've worked so many different parts of the body I haven't.
And then, thank you. What do you think is the biggest difference between regular class and Randy's class?
I like how he pushes you, and I like how he kind of shows you and goes along with you, and then makes you set your own expectations. So whatever you expect to accomplish, you'll accomplish because he'll push you to that.
What's your name?
Hi, I'm Armando Calleja.
Have you ever taken a first aid class before?
Actually, no, I have not. It's the first time.
What made you decide to take it?
It's actually kind of funny. Well, I'm a Strong by Zumba instructor, and I work here at T3 Body. Got our coach. He knows he's all certified and everything, and he wasn't here that day, so I'm teaching my class, seeing one of my students getting a little winded, so she started taking it a little slower, and she looked at me and said, hey, so if I pass out, you give me CPR, right? As a joke. I kind of stopped and realized I don't know how to give her CPR. In fact, if something were to happen while my coach wasn't here, I would not be able to help them out. So I decided, okay, I kind of need to take this class, and we decided to turn it into an event, have a bigger class, invite everyone here in the community to join us, and go from there.
All right. And what did you think of Randy's class?
Honestly, it was awesome. The couple of people that I talked to, because we took our breaks, they're like, I didn't even realize that 3 hours had passed by. He engages you. He makes it funny. He keeps you, like I said, I guess he keeps you engaged. You know, he makes sure that you learn it, and he says funny things or gives you anecdotes and, kind of little outbursts a little bit, but so it sticks in your mind. So you don't forget about it, because you remember, oh yeah, that funny thing he said? Oh, that's actually what's happening right now. And he makes it so you want to learn more. And it's not just next page. I don't want to do that. That's why I really enjoyed his class.
All right. And what's your biggest first aid takeaway?
My biggest first aid takeaway, honestly, was the split more than anything, because you watch all the movies, you do everything, and it was just, you have to have it a certain way in the movies. And he literally, every time he would say something, is all like, by the way, it's going to ruin all your favorite movies, anything medical, any favorite doctor show. And it's like, oh, I didn't realize that, what they're doing is not actually correct. I mean, you don't expect it to be 100% correct, but I was like, wow, every show does this, and they're all wrong, because you expect to do certain things. And it's just, I came to the realization that it's very unreal. I mean, it's unreal, but it's very unreal of how unreal it is.
And then, would you recommend Randy to other people?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Actually, I've been talking to more people, and they're actually wanting to do this class more. I talked to some people that took this class, and they have friends that they're already recommending, and I want to create another class. So if anyone's ready to take another one, just contact me.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.